And a pleasant good morning to you from the Sports Money Network. This is Ramon Scott. Welcome to the Morning Steam Show here for Saturday, September 14th. It's a big day of college football. We're going to talk about every single game for at least 15 seconds, so get ready, stand by. Have your rotation orders ready. We'll run them down. Hopefully, if you spend 2 hours plus with me right here, you'll at least get one little nugget that can help you get to the window. We're not going to spend much time hashing over what went on yesterday, but we saw some great games. And how about the UNLV running Rebels? They are the story for me right now. UNLV, they're 3-0 for the first time since they had a man named Randall Cunningham at quarterback. How about Vegas? Do you think they'll be in the top 25 here this week? Man, hey, maybe they'll win the Big 12. Who knows what's going on? Great job here for UNLV right now with that victory on the road. Kind of a funky game, but a fun game, no doubt. And we had action in Major League Baseball and the WNBA last night. But you know what it's going to be all about here, college football. We're not going to waste much time. We'll get right to the show, say hello to some folks, and you can put your picks in there whenever you want on any game. I'll try to keep up. Thomas can just make a decision if he feels like there's a consensus play, because gosh darn, he did a great job yesterday figuring out what we were doing with Team Steam. And how about the consensus winners yesterday? Yeah, you guys had the Colorado Rockies yesterday. How about it? You guys had Arizona. You guys had Houston. You guys had Kansas City. I'm just here to guide the ship. So Jermaine joined up. He's a new member. Truth Teller's here. I hope there are no other pick sellers in here, Truth Teller. But if they are, we just don't mind them coming in here. Just make sure you give us some picks. Also, Joey Harb here today. David Wallace, he likes East Carolina. You know what? I think Ramon does too. So why not come on in here with okay, some nice text coming in there. Some people are pretty happy with me being on the air, I guess. Oh man, it's like old times here with Curtis Mann here on a Saturday. Thank you, Curtis, for being here. We'll ceremoniously opening the doors here for us. Here is Dre here. Yeah, we need a bounce back. Hey, you might have heard that steam just rolling in there a few moments ago. I wasn't necessarily on board with this one, but right now our first move that just came across, we're going to be all over the place, gang, so just keep your pencil handy here. But Boston College, Missouri, this is Steam on the under 53. We'll get to that one right away. It's like the 10th or 11th game in. I kind of was thinking over, but we'll see what you guys think as well. Gerardo's here. He sent me a DM. He said, take Man U today. You know, I don't think I'm going to get around to much soccer on a huge college football day, but yeah, I rolled with Man U today because Gerardo told me to. Maybe Gerardo can provide our picks when I'm pretend I'm too busy for soccer, but we know there's some action going on all over the place today. We got I'm watching the Goal Rush here hopefully soon. Reminds me of the old show. If anybody used to watch it, it still goes on, but not here in the United States. But used to watch it on those streams, show where they'd bounce around in England to different guys and they'd be narrating it, but they wouldn't be showing the game. they would, what was it, Gillette Soccer Saturday? Anybody ever watch that on Sky Sports when they'd play all the games before we got all the games like this? I mean, really only 5 or 10 years ago, I was watching that show when not all the games were on via streaming. Remember one time on NBC, or for 2 years in a row, they put like every game in that last week on like all the NBC networks? Yeah, we just watched Peacock. All right, let's say hello to also Jermaine. Oh, there's Jermaine. He's a member. And Res Doge here. Hey, at least our Doge and Ethereum is doing a little bit better here. AUD's ready to go. Also, maybe some plays out of Spain today. Jermaine says, we have the Rockies truth tellers ready for that football. And here's Nasty Nate. He's got the wrench, so everybody behave here. Everyone be cool. Here, wine time's here, ready to go. We got college football. Let's start the show. Robert Franklin here. Hey, we had that winner. It wasn't easy, right, after dropping that first set. And I think our other results, though, were actually mixed. I think I might get around to Guadalajara today late, but I don't think we're going to hit up Tunisia early on. And Turkey's here today as well. All right, speaking of pick sellers, I've got a big package lined up right now at Winnable. My early action here, I believe it's maybe a 7-pack of games for the games kicking off, the big noon kickoff through the first hour or two of kickoffs, and I'll come in with an afternoon pack and then a late pack today. 3 packages over there at Winnable. That's where you can get all of my picks here. I'm going to give you a bunch of free picks right now, probably one in every game, maybe even predict the score of every game. We're trying to make this coverage better each week. So click the QR code in the upper right-hand corner, and that'll take you to the Winnable page where you'll find me over there. Also, if you do subscribe today, and maybe our subscribers, if some of them are in the chat, I've produced a report late last night where I've compiled a bunch of plays from cappers from around the industry, paid cappers, well, kind of just like me, and some of the best in the business. Now, we don't single them out, but I've tabulated all the results and put it in a package over there. So if you subscribe to Winnable, you'll get, honestly, over 300 selections from professional handicappers broken down by game, by team, by total. See who professionals are on in today's game, side and total, when you go to my subscription service over at the Winnable app. Yeah, I'll have my picks there as well, including my MMA card for tonight here. Still hoping that someone swings by and picks me up and, well, maybe even buys my ticket to go over to the Apex tonight for the Sphere, where they're going to have the big UFC event. Should be pretty spectacular with the videos playing in the background. Here, a little baseball steam right now. Seattle Mariners tonight. I'll continue my commercial here in a moment, but let me pull up my baseball. Mariners are taking some steam right now with Gilbert at $1.32, maybe $1.35, maybe $1.40 here against Max Scherzer. The Rangers have been rolling out all their veterans here last couple weeks now that they're out of the playoffs. So there you have that one. A baseball move here. We got to keep you updated on all the moves here today, and make sure you're armed with at least some opinions or plays. Remember, when I call out the steam, that just means the market is moving. It's not something I make up. Just right down the street, there's a line service. There's about, I don't know how many guys are sitting in that room. They would never tell me, but a bunch of guys watching a bunch of screens, watching a bunch of games, updating scores and lines all day. And when one line is moving at all the sports books who they were tied into a computer, and get all those updates, they hit that button. So that's how we get alerted, and we're going to tell you when those plays come over the next, 145 minutes. Who knows how long we'll be here. So click on that code, use this Steam password here or a promo code, and go over there and hook it up today. Sign up for free. You can get some free plays as well. I'm going to try to hit up a bunch of stuff today, but mostly here today, college football, MMA, Major League Baseball will be the major focus. I'd like to get to an MLS card tonight. I'd like to match up my power ratings right now against that line and taking the line movement into account a little bit, but go over there to the service and I'll kind of show you here what I'm talking about with this report where you're going to see all these games with all these cappers and all these teams with how many uh, we've seen on different teams here today. So please check it out over at Winnable. It's a very affordable package. I promise you that you'll get well worth your money's worth there with that package. All right, we're going to say hello to a few more people, then we're going to get ready to go with Justin. He's going to the backyard brawl, and I know Justin's going to be fastening his seatbelts for this one. We'll preview it in just a few minutes, but man, it's going to be fun. Not never fun, the backyard brawl, but it does seem like it's going to be a wild one today with Pitt and West Virginia. Jermaine likes North Texas plus 10. Hey, here's Jermaine also with Coastal team total over. Watch out for my man Christian Washington. Remember, I've been talking about this guy even from last year when he was on New Mexico. I've interviewed him on my prep coverage back in the day, and I've been following his career. And he got 2 touchdowns last week. He's returned a kickoff back already. Christian Washington of Coastal Carolina. He could be a breakout star. Shout out my man, Christian. Big moves, Washington. Robert Franklin here is on Vandy in this one. He's also got Tulane here as a play. And no problem, Justin. I'll just tell you right now, Justin, if you want to comment on the backyard brawl here, maybe I can throw out my play a little bit. We're going to be all over the place. I'm on Pitt probably in this one. Man, it's going to be close. So that spread's gone from 5.5 down to 2 or so right now. And you got to figure West Virginia, they might win, man, but it's going to come down to a field goal. It could be tied late. It just feels like, and there's going to be some backyard brawl shenanigans like there sometimes is or usually. So you got to figure this game's coming down 34-31, somewhere right in there. And you know what that means. Pick up my package over at Winnable if you need to find out. All right. Hello to Lando here as well. Nunya here. I like to, what did Nate say, the morning special? I was thinking of the midnight special. Did anybody ever watch the midnight special with the rock bands and the musical stars that would come on late at night? After Saturday Night Live back in the late 70s there. And those were some great performances. All right. And AOD is ready for me to sing already. He wants me to do Tears for Fears, but I think I'm more of a shout, let it all out. Solo's here. Great to still see you, Solo. Thank you so much for here stopping by and hey, throw out some plays for us, Solo. I miss the gang. I don't really miss the gang. I mean, we didn't really interact that much. I do miss, the guys we were working with, Rod and Jorge and Steven and Tony. But man, I really miss the opportunity that they gave me over there because I'd worked so hard for that. But I feel so good about what we're doing here on the Sports Money Network. Justin, thank you for all your plays. Let's get ready to go. Come on here. And you guys, I still hear the music in the background. Do I hear the music in the background? Maybe we should play music in the background actually here. All right, let's keep it rolling right now with the comments. We got to start this show. And talking to you, come on. All right, here we go. Oklahoma State and Tulsa gonna start us off in college football here with big noon kickoffs today. And in this one, I think you're going to find mostly handicappers preferring the underdog in this one. And I probably would side with them. But for me, this total here at 62.5 right now. Let me just pop it up here and take a look at what we can do. Make sure I get all my tabs in place. I was rushing on the air. Hey, it's still team no sleep. Believe me, I've been up. I don't know. I took my nap in the afternoon yesterday so I could go all night. This is a party with me. All right, here we go with this first one. Oklahoma State, of course, they had that game against Arkansas, the double overtime thriller, of course. But oh man, Tulsa blew that 10-point halftime lead against Ark State. So can we really come back here on Tulsa in this one? I would think if we do, then that would mean we're probably going to get some points out of Tulsa. So I don't know if I can think that Oklahoma State, they're probably good for something in the high 30s here. Let's see, a 20 down to 17 and a half. Man, it was as high as 20. Certainly would like to have that there, but I still might want to get a ride with the Golden Hurricanes here in this one. I would have to think it's going to be somewhere in the range of a 38-24, maybe that's 62. I want to get higher. 38-28. Could it go 41-28? I don't know if we can get that high, but at 62 and a half, I think I'm going to have to take over in this one. The widely reported steam came in obviously on Tulsa here in this one, and now we're showing 17 and a half, 17, but look at Bovada all the way up to 63 and a half right now. I'll take the over. Feels like the air is running out of the football here a little bit with that, and I'm gonna have to just make it a free play here, but I don't know. I'm on the side, you know it. Subscribe to my plays over there at Winnable. You might already know where I'm on here. And let's see here with Darren's going to be on Tulsa here. You know, AOD. Maybe I should just do a karaoke show and just quit the picks here. Subhuman, thank you very much today for joining me. We'll be ready here tonight. Don't forget, we'll have a live stream here on Sports Money Network with Subhuman and the gang with that MMA card. It's going to be awesome. Man, and wouldn't it be awesome if I could just get to the Sphere tonight and do a live remote with those guys? That would be sick, but probably just want to watch it too. And, the cheapest seats, I checked it out. Believe me, they're about $750 here. And, the expensive seats, if you want to get down real close and you want to take three of your closest friends, it's going to cost you about $45,000, but there's a lot of money in this town. All right, give me the over in this one. North Texas and Texas State here tonight. Well, Texas State, I think they were a little bit higher than this line, certainly when it came out, as high as about 12 or so. And we're dealing all the way down here to about 10. Steam did come in originally on Texas Tech, according to the line service, but obviously the move here has been on 2-0 North Texas here in this one. The Steam did come in on the over as well. I'm showing the sharpest books are up nearly to 70 and a half. You're not going to have me updating the lines probably tonight, so please pay close attention. There's just too much going on, but 70 and a half right now. And look, I think we can get to 70 here. I'm thinking it could be Texas Tech can get this money, even though North Texas is 2-0 here. I don't know, the way it looks to me, you got both offenses just clicking, right? In their games so far, both teams averaging over 500 yards so far. Texas Tech, they do have some injuries to report, so maybe that is part of the issue here, but let's see. Tech really can't afford to lose. We know that, and they're favored by a touchdown. I figure they'll get this one actually in close to an over. Could it be 42-28 here in this one? That's kind of where I was headed here, but man, that would be Texas Tech premium almost here. But again, a little bit of concern about so let's call it maybe, how about 42-31? This one's going over today with North Texas and Texas Tech. I don't think I can get down with a premium with Texas Tech. I'd actually like to lay points here, but I'm going to take the over on the show with North Texas and Texas Tech. Darren will take North Texas, and Man U scored a goal. I've already switched over to Goal Rush because can't be switching channels in the middle of the game right now. We got some other games on. Here's a man. I got a couple games on over here. Sevilla, is that Sevilla that's on over here? Man U over here. A lot of people have a man cave. I got like I don't know. I'm just kind of trapped in here. All right, here we go. Lando's on the over here in this one. Truth Teller, I think this is a team total. Texas Tech team total over. And let's see. All right, let's move on. We got all these games to cover, and we got a nice one here, don't we? When with a got big noon kickoff with the Alabama Crimson Tide, 16.5 point favorite over Wisconsin. What? You mean to tell me Alabama's going to come in there and roll over Wisconsin this week? Both teams come in here 2-0. Alabama have won their first two games by a combined 105-16. So Crimson Tide here, just 5-9 against the spread as a road favorite. Last 14 tries, they do a little bit better non-conference as against the spread anyway. Uh, Last week, Alabama, they did give up some rushing yards for sure. I would think Wisconsin might still be able to succeed. Yeah, Alabama won by 20, what was it, 42-16. But I would think Wisconsin here, they beat Western Michigan. It wasn't easy. I get that. They, were just okay last week in their 1AA game here, but they're still at home here. They got a guy who's seen some time at quarterback, and do like Luke Fickell as an underdog, certainly. But I would think for me, I'm probably going to end up on the under here. Look, I think Alabama's going to win this game, but I don't think they're going to win it by more than 2 touchdowns, quite honestly. I got to think this one's going to be 28-14, 28-17, right in there. So that's going to put me on an under, probably for sure here on the show. And maybe you can tell, I'm not too fond of playing this many big points when you're going into Camp Randall. Who did that funny bit with the jump around? And did you guys see that? The comedian was doing both Alabama and Wisconsin. I don't know if it was viral or what. What do you guys got here? Darren maybe he's going under in this one. And Nunya, of course, is going to say, roll damn Tide. Sherrick White, hello. And he says, Bama rolls. I'm in the minority here for sure, it feels like. But the total is my play here on the show. Robert says he agrees. Go under here in this one. Hey, if Wisconsin wants to win, they're going to have to keep this one close, obviously. But I mean, realistically, they can do that. And it would only be, for Alabama to, use all that muscle and power to get it done. But I'm showing handicappers by about a 2-1 margin favoring Wisconsin here, and they definitely prefer the under. I'm in the majority there. Next up, Central Michigan going to take on Illinois here. And Illinois about a 3-touchdown favorite in this one against Central. Handicappers heavy here, about a 3-1 ratio on Central Michigan here today. But I don't know if I can. I've been trying to find my way to Central Michigan in this one, but I'm probably just going to lay more points here. Maybe this will be my downfall today after, hey, we had a good week last week. Doing it in the same fashion. We're going to do it again here today. But for Illinois, this is going to be where you got Illinois, upset Kansas State here last week. We saw Kansas State last night, so you can kind of gauge maybe where you think Illinois is at this point. Central Michigan had lost to Florida International. That wasn't good for them, and I think they had they had a ton of turnovers in that game. They think they turned it over every possession, it feels like, but they lost it by 36 points, but they did outgain FIU in that one. So I think I'm in the minority here, but I've got to think this is going to be probably, what's the total now? What did I say? 50? Yeah, 50, 21 and 50. Boy, it's going to fall right there, I think. It was as high as 53.5, dipped as low as 48.5. I've got to think it's going to be right there, but I'm going to take Illinois. This is an inflated line, so like I said, I'm in the minority. Handicapper is going to take Central Michigan here. I've got it around 37-14. I feel like in this one, I'm going to take Illinois just as a free play. I wouldn't want to go premium here when, laying at least 4 more points than the lowest. Thanks to those of you who were just watching. Manchester United, 3-0 win over Southampton here. All right. Let's see here. We get a free couple plays here. And let's see, Joe T on Wisconsin. And remember when, speaking of jump around, man, when that first time they did jump around, Joe, after the pandemic, that would bring a tear to your eye. I mean, even the players were doing it. We were so excited to be in a full stadium watching football. All right, here's Jerry. He's got a teaser. Bama in the under. That jumper, and then you know the you know uh they were jumping around in the booth.
Final.
Here we go. Let's see. Central for Darren. And Jarek's going to lay it with me here. Robert's going to lean Central Michigan here. Nunya says, don't, he says he thinks people are sleeping on Alabama. Don't, Nunya, you're a football expert. I don't think I don't think you're pulling any bunches here on this one. I mean, Alabama is one of the best teams in the country. So I don't know. Anybody sleeping on Alabama in the chat, let me know. All right, Jermaine, we're going to cover if any steam comes in here on some of these smaller games. We're going to be hitting it for sure. And all right, I think that's it for that one. I'll just take Illinois here, laying more points. Oh no. All right, next up. Memphis taking on Florida State. Florida State, man, this is kind of a runaway favorite as well. The early release lines were as low as we did see some very low numbers here, maybe even below 5, maybe even below 4. Circa opened it at 4. I thought I saw a lower number than that, but I didn't record it. I don't pay too much attention to rogue numbers, but 4 seems like a general line here, and now you're up to 6.5. It did touch 7 here in this one. I gotta think Florida State's probably good for the win, but Memphis is a hot pick among handicappers today. I'm showing Memphis here, a slight edge from cappers, but the steam came in on Memphis. Steam came in on the over here, and if I've got to think that if Florida State's going to win anything close to this spread, maybe it is going to go over, but man, 30, how about 34-27? That isn't even going to get them. That isn't even barely going to get the money, but I would think that's where it's going to be 34-27 or so. I'm going to be on the over here in this one. I'm going to take another over here with Memphis and Florida State here. FSU, they're they don't really lose too many games like they've lost them so far. So big question marks here. I'm not sure they could win a game by 7 right now, the way they're going. I don't know if I can play Memphis here at this point, even as a premium, but man, FSU will win this one, but man, it's going to be a struggle. I figure it's going to be around a touchdown, 34-27. That puts me on an over, though, here. All right, let's see if you guys got anything in this one. With Florida State's going to, we got Robert Franklin says giving Florida State and the under here in this one. And Ray's here today. Jermaine's got the over. Jerry. Okay, let's see here. I just over for Joe. Thank you. And Jermaine says they'll be able to move the ball on these guys at Florida State, get that offense going here. Obviously, those they've had a couple of rough outings for sure. Here comes some steam right now, and ironically, it's in a game that is we're just about to get to. But let me just pop it in here now because I don't know if I agree with this steam. Here's LSU and South Carolina. Oh, I'm getting another one here with Georgia Tech. You guys were getting the first of the added board steam here on the extra board, 905, 906. Georgia Tech minus 45 against VMI. It is now heading north of 45 points up here to 46 on the extra board. Also, LSU, South Carolina, steam on the over right now at 48, maybe higher than 48 in that LSU South Carolina game. Good luck to you on that. I'll mark it down, but I'm about to tell you how I like the under, I believe, when we get there. Let's keep it moving. Oh, we got a few more plays with FSU. Jermaine said FSU. And Jerry says we got a bunch of coin flips here today. A little bit of breaking news also. Russell Wilson been downgraded to doubtful. I think we knew that, but that one's just coming across the high-speed sports wire here. All right. Next up, Cincinnati taking on Miami of Ohio here. And yeah, Cincinnati's going to be about a 3-point favorite. They were as high as 4, but it was a little lower than this, too, I believe. Early on, I see numbers here as low as 2.5, maybe even 2 early on. At 1.5 at a few books early on, but now we're up to 3 here. I think Cincinnati can get this one. I think it's going to go down to the wire in this one, and maybe that in fact leads to another over. Man, I'm going to be on a lot of overs here. That's discouraging for Mr. Under. The widely reported steam came in on Cincinnati, and the widely reported steam came on the over in this one. So I would think Cincinnati wins. 27-24, my algorithm's kind of pointing to here right now. Miami never beats Cincinnati, and they're a 3-point dog. They did beat them last year, snapping a 16-game losing streak against the Bearcats. Redhawks had a bye last week after losing that game, remember, to Northwestern back on the shores of Lake Michigan. So Cincinnati lost to Pittsburgh last week. Remember, we had Pittsburgh on the show, but it wasn't easy. Cincinnati led that game 27-6, and man, it seems like they are desperate for a win. I think Cincinnati can get the win here, but it's going to be by 3 if they win. I'll take it over maybe 27-24 here in this one. What's Cincinnati's money line? 175 or more? I don't know if I want they'll probably win, but it feels uncomfortable. All right, any more? We got a few more comments here as we roll along on the morning steam. Chris Brady is here today. Jerry says, give me Cincinnati, give me in. I'll lay even a few more points. I'm a big Cure fan, AOD for sure. The Cure, the Smiths, all those groups right in there from the early 90s, late 80s, of course. And R&B as well. All right, here's Darren. He wants the over in this one with me. And Nunya says he likes the Bearcats here to take care of business against Miami O. Maybe off that loss last year, could be a little bit. They're going to have their radar up here a little bit for sure. All right, next up, Louisiana Tech taking on North Carolina State. Got State 3-touchdown favorite here in this one, and I would think they probably can get this money, quite frankly. Here comes a little more steam right now. This is added board action. 9-17, 9-18, South Carolina State and Georgia Southern. Game total under 54 right now. This total is moving lower on some steam here right now. South Carolina State and Georgia Southern. All right. For Louisiana Tech and NC State here, the steam came in on NC State. I would think that they can take this one here by the margin of 21 or more. It was as low as 19.5. It did tick up to as high as 22, but now we're back at a reasonable 21 here. I might be tempted to take them here, laying these points here a little bit, but I think more so I'm going to go with the total I'm going to go with another over, if that's okay. Here, look, it was as high as 54.5, and it's been bet down here to 49 on the widely reported steam. So look, I think NC State wins this game and covers. So 38-14, that's a 24-point win and a total of 52, which gets over this one. Give me the over here. Louisiana Tech and NC State. I do like NC State, but I think once you start flirting with that 3-touchdown margin in a game where I do expect Louisiana Tech to get a couple of scores, a little bit more trepidation there, I think, for me in that one. All right. Let's see. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Justin. Well, I would have saved myself some time if we got to coordinate that. And all right, I wonder, Robert was talking about this one, the last one here. Oh, this one probably, yeah, for sure, because the other one was like 46. So if you guys can, and some of those totals, if you can just put one of the teams in there, and I'll know, or even the initials here. I mean, NCS would have been fine. Thank you, Robert. Comments are always great, but I do want to make sure we get everybody on the right play when we feature them. All right, here we go. We just talked about that steam to the over. LSU, South Carolina handicappers are heavy on the Gamecocks here in this one. And, well, maybe I'm with them, but more so, I'm going to finally get to an under here, I think, with LSU and South Carolina today in this one. You know, LSU lost to USC, then bounced back to win their FCS game last week, 44-21. So far, you got to figure with, you know, Brian Kelly right now. I don't feel very comfortable necessarily laying any points here on the road, and they were as high as a 9.5 point favorite, now all the way down to 6 here right now. I think LSU, if they're going to win, they're barely going to win, and I've got this one probably as a low scoring game here in this one. Here comes a little steam right now. This is game 9-11, 9-12 on the extra board with Gardner Webb and Charlotte. And the move has come in under 47. Gardner Webb and Charlotte getting steamed right now, under 47 extra board game. So LSU and South Carolina here in this one. I'm on the under. I've got this one maybe 24-21 LSU. Maybe South Carolina wins this one, gang. I think the Cocks are alive here, if you know what I mean. What do you guys got in the chat here in this one? And it is going to be... There was a lot tech for Darren. Here's Robert on South Carolina. M looks hello. Jerry says he's already got the Gamecocks. Robert Franklin says can't trust LSU's D. M looks is going under. Nunya says go Tigers. Hey, that's un-Bama-like, but maybe he does roll here. He should know his SEC, certainly. Thank you, Nunya. And Jerry here with a little prop action, it looks like. And Perky says he'll take LSU, and he's going to buy at 3 points. What is that? Probably it's got to be about $2, I would think, to get on a 3 here, if not even a little bit more. But certainly LSU better win this game, and that's what I'll do. But I've got it probably 24-21. All right. Next up. Thank you, Bert. Great job. All right, here we go. Arkansas, yeah, maybe you're right, because I think at home, maybe that would have, maybe I'm thinking at home, maybe I'm dealing with square bucks. Arkansas State and Michigan here, and well, maybe Michigan, maybe this is one that Michigan can handle, but you know what, this spread, certainly no bargain out here. I saw some shops open this one pretty low, but most of the spreads, most of the openers were well higher than this at 24 or more. This actually may represent a discount to most here. I would think, though, for me, Arkansas State, this is going to be a problem for them to score, I would imagine, in this one. Maybe they'll get 1 touchdown against Michigan here. If they get 2, maybe it will go over here. I think Michigan wins this one. They probably even get the money. Maybe in the range of 35-10 or so is kind of where I wanted to look with this one. Like I said, if Arkansas State does get a second score, I guess I might be in trouble here. But if they, 14, maybe they could even still get there at, I don't know, 42-14, 38-14 gets there as well. Michigan coming off that humiliating loss to Texas at home. So handicappers are definitely on the Arkansas State club here, showing it maybe about 72% of cappers here on Arkansas State. The widely reported steam did come in on the over here, but I don't want that. At 47.5, I'm going to take the under here. I got Michigan in the 35-10 range today. And let's see what you guys have in this one. We've got a little bit. And it is going to be, hey, Dunk Eru 2828. Want to say hello and thank you for your participation in the chat. Welcome to Team Steam. Robert Franklin's on Arkansas State plus 22. Jerry Davis says, give me ASU with the points. And we know he means this ASU. The Red Wolves, right? Red Wolves. And Truth Tellers leaving us to go check out some esports, I think, right there. And Jerry says offense will not be a problem here for even against mighty Michigan. So maybe I'm on the under here. All right. And Nunya says, give me Michigan money line. He's got a big money line. You're going to put in a bunch of, uh, 24, what, three minus three, 22,000s maybe in there. All right. And let's move on here. I'm maybe going too fast for you guys, but I got a lot of games to cover here. Hope you guys can keep up. We haven't actually seen Thomas there, have we? So maybe I'll have to try to keep track of the consensus. Here, Boston College and Missouri. This is an attractive matchup certainly today. It has to be one of the top uh, 20 games going here today, I would think. Yeah, 2-touchdown favorite here for Missouri. A lot of support for BC. I wouldn't say it's overwhelming. I'd say most cappers, maybe a coin flip here in this one with these two teams, but you got Boston College coming in, 2-0 record, Missouri coming in, 2-0 record. Boston College, of course, won that big game against Florida State, and then they won big time last week in their FCS matchup, 56-0. For Boston College, O'Brien 6-3 against the spread as an underdog so far, but BC is 3-7 against the spread. Last 10 as a double-digit road dog. For Missouri, they beat Buffalo. They won their FCS game last week. They have outscored their opponents so far 89-0. And they ran for 255 yards against the Bulls last week. Got a pretty good quarterback with Cook back there. So I don't know. I would think Missouri. I know there's a lot of support for Boston College, but I think 2 touchdowns should be achievable here, I would think, for Missouri, and I think they can get some points on this board. BC, beat Missouri just a couple of years ago at home in overtime, 41-34. ACC 9-6 against the spread, last 15 against SEC teams right now. Let's see here. I'm on the over here in this one. I've got Missouri to roll, and I would think, look, if I've got them covering here, in the range of maybe 38-19, that would get me with an over there with Boston College and Missouri. I've got another over today, gang. Oh man, a lot of overs for me. That's unlike me. Here we go. That's right, Jerry. There. See, that's what I was thinking, right? I had to go back and make sure, because half the teams have changed their nicknames. What was the latest one that was, could you believe this? I'm trying to remember which school it was. It may have been a smaller school. It was a smaller school, certainly, but the latest name change has to be one of the funniest. Yeah, maybe it is a little bit, I don't know if it's derogatory, but the Plainsmen. The Plainsmen just changed their name. Yeah, they're Plainsmen. They work on the plains. I get it. But, I mean, come on. It could also be the name, right? They're so plain. They're just boring. They're Plainsmen. Well, we're going to change that one, too. Here's Missouri, minus 14.5. Here's BC, plus 17.5. And I was Dunk Eru here, going to the Show Me State. I thought he was doing Peter Frampton there. I was going to say, show me the way every day. Missouri here for Jermaine, Missouri for Darren. It looks like we're rolling here with Missouri, but I'll take the over as my play here on the morning steam. We can moving on up to our next contest. It's Massachusetts taking on Buffalo here. We won't spend too much time on all of these, but I do think here in this one with this game, man, 44.5. Maybe I'm reading this one a little bit wrong here, but I would think at 44.5. But look, Massachusetts is going to be close, right? This is going to be, it might not be the best game out there, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be a blowout here. Now, I know Buffalo's favored here by 4.5 or so, but I got UMass staying in this game. I think it's going to come down to the wire in this one, and maybe both teams end up with, 21, 24 points right in there, and that ends up getting this one over, quite frankly. And The widely reported Steam came on the over, and we really still, I'll look again, but I'm sure we haven't seen too big of a move. Yeah, okay, it's 45.5 a little bit now at some spots, but I'm going to say Buffalo wins this one by just a couple of points in the 24 21, 24, 20, 24, 21 won't get me there. So I need 24, 23, 27, 24, maybe something right in there. Maybe Buffalo hangs on and wins this one here. Look, UMass, they look pretty good against Toledo, but ended up, let's see, I think they lost that game. And then Missouri, they scored a touchdown in the last seconds to get that cover against Buffalo, and Buffalo did a pretty nice job as well. So uh, interesting to note, these two teams will be in the same conference next year. Here's some steam on added board game. Northern Illinois 9-21 against Eastern Illinois against Northwestern. The line was 25.5 for Northwestern. It's down now, getting into, once these prime numbers a little bit, 24-ish here right now. Pretty big move here on Eastern Illinois here on the Morning Steam. All right, let's keep it rolling. We also got another one here. It just came in while I was yapping. Central Florida and TCU on the main board here. And it's one that I probably can endorse. In fact, I'm going to get on it right now. I was going to save this for a premium in my third load of plays that'll come out on Winnable today, but I'm going to pass it along right now. And if I repeat it again later, please forgive me. I'm marking it down. I do like the under in Central Florida and TCU, under 63. I was looking at that game right about the range of maybe, 34-27 for TCU, maybe 31-27. TCU is just a 1 or 2 point favorite in that game, probably two now. And maybe it's a coin flip or toss up for a lot of people. And I do like the under, and that's where that steam is coming in right now. Central Florida and TCU under 63. All right. Anyways, Massachusetts and Buffalo. Hope you guys are following me here. I do take the over here in this one. Let's get some more comments on the screen. And thank you, Solo. He likes UMass here in this one. Here's Robert likes UMass. Feels like we're going, hey, could we get a consensus here? So I think Thomas actually might have said yesterday he was going to be out today. I'm not sure. Or is he here? Did I miss him? You out there, Tom? You out there, Thomas? Let's see here. Jermaine likes this one over with me. And, no problem. Truth Teller, appreciate you stopping by, my man. Appreciate you every time. All right, here's Darren, Buffalo, and the under in this one. And this is Ramon, what are you doing here? No wonder everybody's leaving for other shows talking about these basketball schools. Jerry got a great number as well. Next up, Coastal Carolina against Temple. Ooh, boy. All right. Well, I talked about my man Christian Washington here, obviously, already for Coastal. And, well, you know what? I mean, how are you going to deny here with Temple here in this one, right, gang? I mean, they're so bad right now coming into this one. How are you going to even stand to want to take them here at this point? Now, the steam did come in on Temple. You know how those Sharpies are. They're just going to take numbers every time. But, man, Temple looks like one of the worst in the country. Coastal's 2-0 against the spread. Temple is 0-2 against the spread. And the Owls have been getting crushed so far. I think Coastal can probably get to 38, maybe even 40 points here in this one. Got some steam coming in right now. Game 9-09-9-10 on the extra board. They're taking Colgate today against Akron. All right. It was 14. It's probably down to 13 now. We're seeing a move on Colgate against Akron today. Added board steam, extra board steam here with Colgate. All right, I'm talking Coastal and Temple here. I've got Coastal probably to rock here by 3 touchdowns. I would think I'll take Coastal as my play here on the show. And I've got a maybe 38-17 somewhere in there. Like I said, steam came in on Temple. Steam came in on the under, but I don't think I'm having any part of the steam in that game. I'm going to be taking Coastal here in this one. Also, Temple, man, big-time problems with turnovers against a team like Coastal. That could be a problem. They're already -9 in those 2 games. in turnovers here. All right. And let's see here. We got Coastal for Robert. We got Coastal for Jerry. And we're going to look next at Texas A&M going up against Florida here in this one. Both teams in a big game here today after, both teams lost in week one. And we did get the news Mertz is going to play. And then everybody laughed and said, go under. Mertz is going to play. Let's go under. I think it'll probably go over now here in this one, actually. And I think Florida I actually can't find a handicapper interested in Texas A&M. So maybe someone in the chat is. Let me know. But to me, all the people that I'm running with seem to like Florida here in this one. I'm probably just going to listen to them. The steam came in on A&M, but I would think that maybe A&M could still eke out a victory, but if they do, it's probably going to be in the range of 27-24 or so. That's right on the spread. But I don't know if I'm even going to be too interested in the side. I'd probably buy Florida up here, maybe to an extra point or so, maybe 4.5. But I think over in this one, it was as high as 49.5, now down to 45.5. And I would think that if A&M does get this win by 3 points, like it says there, or maybe even, Florida keeps it close, 27-24 in there. This one's got to reach 50 for me. I think the move might be wrong. It's the widely reported steam came in on the over, but the move's been steady to the under here, it seems like this week. Right now, open 49 at some spots and all the way down here to 45. So, all right, I'll take the over as my play here on the morning steam. And we'll fill in the blanks here. Darren's back on the Coastal game still here. And Jerry says he's going to take Florida on the money line. How about that? And Lando says the Gators as well. Here's Robert on the Gators. Feels like we're on the Gators here a little bit. And there is concerns, obviously, about A&M right now. Maybe a little bit long-term here. They got to kind of get things moving at this point. Also, here's some steam right now. Game 921. 922 here. I'm going to mark it down. This one in the FCS. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. This is the game we've already talked about with that Eastern Illinois Northwestern steam to the under. Now, steam on Eastern Illinois. Now they're steaming the over here at, get this, gang, 35.5 up to maybe 36.5. So maybe that's kind of what we're seeing here with this one. Because look, Northwestern here was favored to win this game in the range of like 31 to 6 or so right now. But the steam is going Eastern Illinois and the over. So I don't know what 28-10 could be looking at there with Northwestern. Not going to be able to match it up here with my numbers rolling here, but just want to get those moves to you. And good morning to Sancho here today. Also, Smoke is here with me today. Good morning, Smoke. And Sancho's ready for that card tonight. It is a late UFC card, so expect my package to come in hopefully around midday here. I think I know all the fights. We're ready to go. But with my UFC picks, I'm going to give you a pick and prediction on almost every fight. Last week, I think we did 10 of 12. So, okay. And don't forget, we do have great First Strike podcast here on the Sports Money Network, but also please check out my podcast with my analyst VB over on my channel with VB MMA Picks with Ramon Scott. We preview the main event and 2 other fights, but also check out, of course, our programming here with the gang on First Strike, and then get ready tonight for Noche UFC, our companion broadcast here on Sports Money Network. Okay, let's continue on with some pretty big games here now. And, well, it must be November if we're talking Apple Cup, but we're not. We're talking Apple Cup in September with Washington State and Washington here in this one, and I don't think the luster is gone here necessarily. They will be playing this one at the big stadium in Seattle, so not necessarily a home field here, but still like to see this game still going on here. Washington's been pretty good here thus far, and Washington State certainly have been pretty impressive offensively as well. But man, this one feels like it's going to come down to blood and guts here today. You got Washington, a 5.5 point favorite, total at 54. And I think Washington State can hang in here and represent the Pac 12, if you know what I mean, here in this one. Like I said, it's not at Washington Stadium, and I don't think it necessarily, even though it's in Seattle, is a huge home field edge necessarily. There'll be repping from Pullman a little bit, and I'm going to probably take Washington State to hang in there in this one. Maybe it's going to be just a field goal game. And if it is, it could get tight late. I would think somewhere in the range of 27, 24 here in this one. So I think with Washington, watch out. That quarterback that they have, Mateer, he gets running a little bit. That makes him a little bit extra efficient, in my opinion. So I'm going to end up on Washington State here. I'm going to take these points in this one, and feels like it's just going to be. I think it'll end up being a lower scoring game, knockdown, drag out here. Let's see. Robert Franklin's on Washington State, and Darren's on the over. Next up is Oregon and Oregon State. I'm going to get ready for the Civil War here in this one. And man, the Oregon Ducks are up to 17. They were as low as 13.5, maybe 14, but here came that steam. Man, do you really want any part of the Oregon Ducks here at this point? I imagine the spread would have been closer to, I don't know, if Oregon didn't look so bad, maybe it would have been 3 touchdowns here. But, oh, man, I would think this one could end up just being a little bit closer than 2 scores here. Maybe it'll be a 14-point game or so. That still is going to get me over this total. The widely reported steam came in on the over. Handicappers love Oregon State in this game. I don't blame them here, especially getting 17 points now. I would think it might be a 2-touchdown game, but Oregon State, I think they can have Diego State. And you look at some of the history of this game. Certainly last let's see on that home team. Well, over and 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams. Beavers 20-7 against the spread, coming off of a win. 13-6 against the spread in non-conference games. I don't know if I'm counting that stat just yet, but it is interesting. So I'm going to end up thinking right in the range of 34-20 here. That still gets me over the total. That's close to the original open, actually. Give me the over here in the Civil War. All right, here's another added game coming in with a little steam. Northern Iowa and Nebraska. They're steaming over 48 right now. It's going to be creeping up here to 49. Game 19, 9:20. Northern Iowa and Nebraska taking steam to the over here on the morning steam. All right. Next, we got a couple comments here. Hello, Robert Franklin's got a play here, and Dunkaroo is here today. And he was talking to Sancho, asking about the Civil War game. We're almost there right now. We're there right now. We're with you. Justin's driving, he's riding, he's going to the Civil War, and it's West Virginia and Pittsburgh in this one. And I already told you, we don't need to even dig too deep into it. Kind of already told you about kind of the way I feel about the way this one probably is going to go down. I just think it's going to be a game that, going to end up very, very close, thrilling, exciting here for West Virginia. They do come in 1-1 so far. They lost at home to Penn State. They beat their FCS opponent 49-14. For the last 2 years, West Virginia 6-1 against non-conference opponents here, and they were laying as many as 4.5, maybe even 5.5 when this one opened, gang. And now we're looking at down to 2 here. 4.5 was the opener at DraftKings. Not too many books opened up that high, but nonetheless, the move has been on Pittsburgh here. The widely reported steam came in on the over, was as low as an opener of 59 for the most part. Now we're up to 62.5 at some of the sharp books. And well, I still think it's probably going to be over because I expect it to be a thrilling game somewhere around 34-31. Could Pitt win it? Maybe. Uh, it's a too much of a coin flip for me. So if I'm going to get a point and a half here, man, I'm taking Pitt at home in this one. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I think Cappers for the most part are pretty much split. Maybe they're favoring West Virginia with this discount price here right now. I'm taking Pittsburgh in a thriller. And hey, we rolled with them. We rolled with them against the Bearcats. I'm going to roll with them again. All right, next up, Ball State and Miami of Florida. Miami of Florida, 5-touchdown favorite here, total of 55. Not sure I can get behind taking the points or laying the points here. I think this one might be right on. But when I look at it realistically, Ball State, they're either going to score 7. Well, they could score 0, obviously, but is it 0, 7, 10, 13, 14, what do you have them at here, right? If they can get 2 scores, even 10 points, this one might be headed over, right? Because 10, that already puts you at what? 45-10 would be right on there with 35 and 55. So maybe it gets to 48-10 or something like that, 48-14. I'm going to take the over with Ball State and Miami here. I'm going to need 2 scores. I need at least 10 points, if not a little bit more. But you got to figure Ball State right now, maybe the defense just isn't what we've seen with their MAC rated defense of the last couple of years necessarily. They lost a lot of players. So I would think Miami also here for the Hurricanes, they're going to be better offensively here with their quarterback now, and I think it's reasonable that they could get 6 touchdowns in this one. So I'm going to go over here and figure we get to 58 points or more in this one. And not much from you guys here. Just letting me roll here. Got 135 of you. Here comes one of the hottest plays today from Cappers, man. And I don't know if I can keep you guys off of this one either. It feels like it's an overwhelming wave, a tidal wave, if you will, a green wave with Tulane. Everybody wants Tulane. And, well, I'll take them too. I figure we've already lost out on all that value necessarily. Oklahoma was as high as a 15.5 point favorite in the openers. We're dealing with 12.5s here right now, but I've got to think this one's going to be in single digits, man. No one's trusting Oklahoma touchdowns here against Oklahoma today. Remember, it's Tulane that could be headed to the Pac-12 here in the future. And hey, I think they're just fine here against Oklahoma in this one, actually, and I think they will keep it within double digits. Double digits. I think Tulane keeps this one within double digits. They lost at home to Kansas State last week, but it was only 34-27, and they were able to do a good job, man. Tulane had almost 500 yards of total offense against Kansas State last week, so they have a freshman quarterback. He threw for 340 yards last week. Tulane, pretty good underdog over the last couple of years, 10-6-1 against the spread as an underdog in the last 4 seasons. Green Wave also 23-14 against the spread in non-league games. And this coach is Coach Summerall, 7-1 as an underdog against the spread. They're also 17-7 against the spread coming in off a loss. Oklahoma's 2-0. Venables does a pretty good job as a home favorite. The Sooners have been pretty good as a home favorite, but they do host the Tennessee Volunteers next week. Give me Tulane here. I think this one's going to be in the range of 28-21, maybe 31-21, somewhere in there. I've got to take Tulane here, plus the points in this one. Robert Franklin's on Tulane. All right. Next up, it's Nevada taking on Minnesota here in this one. You got Minnesota, 17-point favorite. It was as low, I guess, as what, 14 and a half, maybe 15. I know I bought it down below that number early on. So I just have a feeling that Minnesota is going to be able to get theirs. In Nevada, I think they can get a couple of touchdowns or more here in this one. The widely reported steam did come in on Minnesota and the under here, but I'm not buying it again. I'm going to be taking an over here, it feels like, with this game with Nevada and Minnesota here. For me, look, Nevada, they're probably a little bit better than we thought early on this season, especially offensively. And I think 44 and a half might be just a little bit off. Even if Minnesota does win this game right around this range, what, 31-14, that's 45, that gets you there. 34-17, I think Nevada gets two touchdowns and maybe even a little bit more here. I would think, man, Minnesota, they definitely will have an advantage in the trenches here, but there could be an opponent to overlook. I've got this one about 34-17. I've got to go over with Nevada and Minnesota here in this one. Dunkaroo says, take the Gophers. Robert says, take Nevada. Next up, Notre Dame and Purdue. Boy, this is an old time matchup for me. I remember being stuck with, being some little kid that doesn't want to go to family functions and will go out to the car and sit by himself and listen to a Notre Dame Purdue game when he's 8 years old. On Westwood, I don't even know what it was. Mutual Radio, I think it was back in those days. Anyways, here, no, come on. Who wants Notre Dame in this one? Actually, Cappers are relatively split. Maybe they are favoring Purdue here. The widely reported steam did come in on Purdue. I probably would favor Purdue. Who wants Notre Dame at this point? They don't look like everybody was saying that, oh, it'll be all hunky-dory. Not at this point. They'll be lucky to win this game. It's all the way down to 7.5 here, and maybe it's getting a little bit close for comfort with the spread-wise, but I probably still think Purdue. We haven't seen them against a FBS team yet, but hopefully they can turn it around. They've been terrible, actually, against the spread. I can't read any trends to you because it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Hey, you can check out all of the live soccer scores right behind me right now, all in play there. You see Villarreal over Mallorca 2-1. I guess I can change that game, and all the action there. Look at Leverkusen leading Hoffenheim, Frankfurt over Wolfsburg. How about it? Okay. Anyways, here I've got to take the under. I don't see Notre Dame maybe 23-17. That's going to be close to the spread. Here, even 23-20 gets it home. I think Purdue stays in there. Purdue's 1-10 against the spread their last 11 games at home, and they are absolutely a dreadful home underdog as well. But they are playing the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They've won the last 8 meetings over Purdue, although they've split the meetings 4-4 against the spread. Notre Dame's 4-5 against the spread last 5 trips in here to West Lafayette. Under 7-2-1 last 10 meetings in this series. I'll take the under here with Notre Dame and Purdue. All right. And let's see here. If it ain't foreign, it's boring joining us today. Says he doesn't even know Minnesota can score 17 points. Well, that would hurt my over. All right. And Robert says, this one was much higher, so still missing out on some big points. I don't know. I kind of want to play Purdue on the money line a little bit. Maybe they can. I want to think that maybe it was that Notre Dame could have been what people expected. Doesn't look like it from what we've seen here, really. They would have to impress me. All right, Appalachian State taking on East Carolina. I like East Carolina to win this game. I almost was going to put this in as a premium, but I just wasn't sure on the total. I certainly think it's going to be able to reach 60 points here. And, well, I did play the total earlier in the week when it was much lower. So I'm not one of those guys that says, I got at this price. I'll just give you a play. I'm going to take East Carolina to win this game. It probably was going to be a premium, it feels like to me. I think 31. Like I said, I think it can reach 60. I can't give out the total now. 31-28 or so kind of is what I'm feeling here with East Carolina. Maybe gets this one in a thriller. This should be an awesome game, no doubt, and getting a few points here. And it's down to 1.5 there on the screen. Um, and it's down to one here in a lot of places here. Maybe you even go to pick them. So I got to take East Carolina, I think, to win this game. App State absolutely got drilled by Clemson last week. I thought, I was kind of buying into that anti-Debo thing. And what was the score? It was like 56-0 at halftime. I think it was 56-14 or something. But nonetheless, so far, App State 0-2 against the spread. East Carolina's 2-0 against the spread. I'm going to take East Carolina here. They've been pretty good so far with yards per play and yards per game, I think. And their offense does cook a little bit. They do play a little bit up tempo right now, does East Carolina. So maybe the prices are gone here, but I'm going to take East Carolina to win over App State in the range of 31-28. Maybe it'll sneak over here now, but I think Robert might have the right idea, just trickling under. But like I said, I got over 56. So okay, next up. Troy and Iowa. Well, look at this. It was Iowa minus 23 here, and the total 39. So, ugh, you guys feel a little tight here on this one, but can you really take Iowa if the game does stay under this total? The move has been slightly to the under here. Handicappers seemingly prefer the under and only the under. Well, after it all, it is Iowa. So, what could the final score here be? Realistically, 31-7, 31-7. That's Iowa still barely and under. Troy's got to get a touchdown here, right? But can Iowa? They might not get 4 touchdowns and a field goal, 3 touchdowns, a couple of field goals here. I'm going to take Iowa. Maybe it'll go over. I can't deal with the total. I'm going to take Iowa here minus 23 now. This is definitely the worst of it. So 24 everywhere. I'll take Iowa, I guess. Not too thrilled with this one. Next up, UAB, and my UAB Blazers taking on Arkansas here, but I got concerns maybe for the Blazers today against the Razorbacks, especially if the total here. Look a little high at 61. It was as low as 57.5, I believe, early on, and the number has gone up here from 20, 21.5. Handicapper is probably going to favor Arkansas here, but I'm not sure that I do necessarily at 22. I figure it's going to be close there, the 20-point margin. Maybe 30. Oh, man, 38-21 is an under. That's 38-21, 38-17. 38-17 sounds close to me. I'm going to have to go under. I'm not sure I can take Arkansas here. I did already try to bend this thing down under 3 touchdowns. I do think Arkansas right there, 3 touchdowns or more, but it was as high as 24. I see it at 22 now. Kind of changes my perspective a little bit on this one, but I think I got to end up on the under here with UAB and Arkansas here. Arkansas, they mentioned we lost that game to Oklahoma State, and they totally outgained them in that game. So that was really a bummer. They should have had a better fate probably in that one. UAB lost to Monroe as an 11-point favorite. So my guy Dilfer and company, they're really going to have a good one here. Hope they can play some defense on these guys. I'm going to say it's 38-17 or so here. I've got the under UAB and Arkansas. I've worn you guys out in the chat. Just listen to me. Give the picks here. Robert's going over. All right. He also had you. Me and Robert are making picks. Here we go. Utah here up against Utah State. In the rivalry game. We know no Cam Rising, but Utah should still be good to go here, man. This one's going to be really Utah State's going to have a problem, I would think, just getting 2 scores probably in this one. I think Utah can still win this one, still get the money here. I'm going to take them and lay it with Utah here, with even without Rising. They're going to have Wilson in there, certainly starting this week, and they should still move the ball fairly efficiently. We saw Utah State couldn't get anything done against USC last week, losing that game 48-0. I can't even tell you about Utah State. They got problems at quarterback big time here, so you got to figure somewhere in the 28-7 range for me. Right now, I'll take Utah as my pick here, still to get it done against Utah State tonight. All right, Dunkaroo, Utah big. Here is Virginia Tech taking on Old Dominion. And yeah, I like the textures here. They're up to minus 16 or so, but maybe they can get this one by close to maybe they can get it to 3 touchdowns here. I would think actually we might be able to see Virginia Tech put up at least 5 touchdowns here and get 35 or more points, maybe even get to, I don't think get to 42, but maybe 35 to 14. Let's see, that's 40. That's still not going to get it done. I think it's going to be an over game. So maybe Virginia Tech 38 to 20. Let's see. I'll still need to get it home. 38-21 gets it home, but barely. 38-20, 38-17 that's better. That's 55. So I'm gonna make a manual adjustment here, and then we'll update the power ratings if that one doesn't come through. But I got it like Virginia Tech to roll over Old Dominion and name their score, I would think, here in this one. Widely reported steam did come in on the under, drove this down from about 51 points. So I've got to think that Virginia Tech here gets this one. I'm going to take it and lay it with Virginia Tech, lay big numbers on the road here. Hey, some steam just came in on the LA Angels today in their game against the Houston Astros. And you know what? I was actually going to think about grabbing the Angels when we get to that point on the run line maybe today. They got Tyler Anderson going against Justin Verlander. Verlander was $1.70, but now I'm seeing the Angels probably down to plus $1, lower than plus $1.50 here possibly. I'm not going to get into it, but we will eventually. Here, I'll take Virginia Tech in this football game right now here on the morning steam. All right, keep it rolling. Perky's going to buy 3 points one way or the other. Final. Next up, UTEP taking on Liberty. Obviously, Liberty's not the same Liberty here necessarily. And I don't know, you know what? To me, more so the defense just isn't as good. Of course, they ran into big trouble when they met the big teams, but against the smaller teams, they were doing such a good job here, really. And yeah, they might be able to get this one, but I wouldn't necessarily trust them to get the money here. But I think it could go over with these two. You got to figure, right, with Liberty here, they're probably good for at least 6 touchdowns, maybe 5 touchdowns and some change. And UTEP, I've got them for at least 2 scores here. They might be able to get to 20 points, I think, actually, in this one. So maybe if I can put this one in the range of maybe 41 to 19. That doesn't give me a side, but I'm not sure I have a side actually in this one. Just give me the over here with UTEP and Liberty. I'm going to think this one can get to 60 points here in this one. Liberty is not looking that good, actually. That was a once in a lifetime situation for Liberty, and hopefully they can still. They're 0-2 against the spread so far. They've not covering by about 20 points per game in those games. They trailed New Mexico State late before that miracle comeback last week. So another big favorite role. UTEP lost to Southern Utah last week, and they're trying to feel their way. So I'm going to go over with UTEP and Liberty. All right, here we go. Next up, Connecticut and Duke. This one sounds like fun, doesn't it? I would have to think we're going to see some offense here. Man, I got a lot of overs today. I'm worried. But Duke, 16-point favorite against Connecticut in this one. I don't know if we're going to get to that many for Duke to uh, win by more than 2 touchdowns plus here in this one. Look, Duke needed double overtime in that game against Northwestern last week. The defense does look okay here, but I still think Duke can get 4 touchdowns or more here, and maybe Connecticut does get to at least 20 points in this one. That would be well over here. Actually, that would put me, into the 50 range. Actually, maybe even a touchdown more than this if I go somewhere around 34-19. That actually is a Connecticut cover, and I do like that. Uh, the offense didn't look great here last week for Connecticut, no doubt, but I'm going to end up on the over here in this one. I'm going to try to buck this steam a little bit and think these guys get to 50 points today with Connecticut and Duke. Florida International and Florida Atlantic. Well, this should be kind of, I'm 45 to me does kind of look high actually in this one. I would think that uh, Florida International will be able to stay in this game, man. Both these teams could be in the teens here late. I mean, we might see something 21-17 late, maybe just stalls here actually. Florida Atlantic was about a 6-point favorite. The move has been on Florida International. The steam has been on the over in this one, but I don't know if it's going to go that way, quite frankly. This is an important game here. Owls are 0-2. They got crushed in that game last week pretty much by Army. Army was running all over them, of course, is what was happening. And FIU did win last week big time by 36 points over Central Michigan. But again, Central Michigan kept handing the ball over to Florida International on turnovers big time. So I'm going to go under here in this one. I think this game's going to be stuck in the teens possibly with Florida International and Florida Atlantic. Maybe Florida Atlantic probably gets this win here. I'll take Florida International here plus the points. That'll be my official play here, but you might have already got my premium there on that one. I like Florida International to cover in a low-scoring game. Mississippi and Wake Forest now in this one with Ole Miss, a big favorite here. 20.5, huh? Well, that is down, right, from as high as 20.5 for Ole Miss. Come on, Ole Miss is one of the best teams right now in the country. They will roll here against Wake. I don't think Wake can stop Ole Miss at all, unless I'm sure there could be some turnover. Maybe it'll be I don't. Ole Miss is on the road here, so give them a little bit of a break. But still, I would just think Ole Miss rolls in this one against Wake Forest, down to 20.5. I certainly think they could win this one by close to 4 touchdowns. Feel pretty strong about it here that Ole Miss is going to get probably 49 points. It feels like to me in this one. That's probably the way I'm going to go here. I'm going to take Ole Miss to put up a pretty big number here against Wake Forest. Ole Miss, of course, beat Middle 52-3 last week, and then they beat somebody 75-0 or something like that in that other game. So, if anything, Ole Miss has probably the most experienced offensive line in the country and can do as they please here in this one. Kippen, pretty strong spread coach, certainly. Rebels, a pretty good spread team. So I don't know. Wake, yeah, they had 400 yards last week. They still lost to Virginia 31-30. So I would have to think, I love Bachmeyer, and he should put up some points here, even against Ole Miss. But I think it'll only be because Ole Miss has a big lead. I've got Ole Miss here to win 48-21 or so in this one. Ole Miss to rock today. All right, Dunkaroo says they'll smash them. Jermaine says go over. Here's Perky says they're going to go hard all the way here. Will Ole Miss. All right. First meeting between these two teams in 15 years, I think 16 years. All right, next up, haven't even had to take a break yet here. Western Kentucky is going to take on Middle. Speaking of Middle, here in this one, you got Western Kentucky, about a touchdown favorite here in this one. And yeah, I'm thinking that that's probably where it'll be. Unfortunately, I might have to look at the market because, some of these are on the whim a little bit. I look at my market report, I look at my projections, my algorithm prognostication, if you will, and I've got this one 31-24. It says right here. Well, that's Western Kentucky by 7, and that's 55. So I don't know if I have anything here in this one. Give me some help, chat. We might go to the money line dice here right now in this one. Let me just peek at the market and see if I can. Has the line moved one way or the other since we've been on the air here? This feels like my least favorite game of the day. If anything, the spread has moved certainly in Western Kentucky's favor for the most part. I mean, I saw as low as 4.5 early on, so maybe Middle can stay in this one, but handicappers certainly prefer Western Kentucky here. I'm scratching my head. I'm scratching other things. I'm not so sure I know what I'm doing in this one, but it's going to be Western Kentucky, I guess. I'll say Western Kentucky finds a way to get it home in and over 34-24 here. I'm just going to give it out on the show. I'm not going premium, I don't think at all here. Just give me this has to be the lowest confidence game for me of the day, but I'm just putting a little twist on it there. And let me know if you think the other way, because no one said anything on this game. 34-24, I'll say. All I'm doing is tacking on another field goal there for Western Kentucky on what my computer printout said here, weighing it against my power ratings. Okay, let's keep it going. Jacksonville State going up against Eastern Michigan here in this one. And I'm probably going to be on a premium here on this one on the total. So I'll probably just try to keep it tight here in this one. A little steam coming in right now. Rockies and Cubs under 11. Seen plenty of these Rockies games go under these double digits here at this point. You got Tyone. You got Freeland too. He loves pitching at home where he's much better. So Cubs are done. We could try to give that a little bit of ride over a week or two, but they're, really officially done. Not officially, but about as close as they can get right now. So not too fond of the Cubs here in this game, and the total's moving under here on some steam right now. Okay, Jacksonville State and Eastern Michigan here. I'm going to roll here with Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's 0-2. Michigan. You better be able to beat Michigan here in this one. Their defense has been terrible thus far. They're really going to have to clean it up here against Eastern Michigan. I would expect them to do so. Actually, the totals moved probably based on that from 49 up to 55, but maybe I just haven't adjusted my ratings enough because I'm still probably going to think that they win this one in the range of 27-24 here. Eastern Michigan is not going to pose a big threat despite those defensive woes, I would think, despite the fact they're allowing well over 575 yards per game so far. They've been outgained big time, but power rating wise, I just got to think you got Jacksonville State here can win this game. They better win this game. And maybe that says under, huh? 27-24, Jacksonville State's my play on the morning steam. Believe in Rich Rod. Oh, here was some of that old Miss action with Perky up there. Oh no, we talked about it. Okay, man, I put my old chat in the dust here. Nobody's commenting. Good thing we got 140 of you in the in combined YouTube, uh, X. Also, don't forget. So thank you for tuning in. Vanderbilt and Georgia State here, and you got Vanderbilt, a 9.5 point favorite. I think Vanderbilt can probably get this one by double digits against Georgia State today. Total of 44.5. The totals moved down here a little bit on some widely reported steam, but I'm ready to take another over here, you guys. Come back tomorrow and call me square. Uh, but I would think Vanderbilt's going to be good for more than 30 points here, probably 31, maybe 34 here in this one against Georgia State. Uh, uh, for me, it's probably going to be an over here because I think Georgia State can get theirs as well. Vanderbilt's looked pretty awesome, right? They've covered both games pretty easily by an average of 3 touchdowns, quite frankly. And now you got kind of a different game here where they are going to be favored here. I've got to think over in this one, 31-19 or so. That'll get you Vanderbilt and the over, quite frankly. I've already bought Vanderbilt down Perky style to, I believe I got it at bought it down to 7. So laid some pretty heavy juice there, but I want to go a little bit big on it. So I'm going to take Vandy to roll here. Yeah, Vandy goes real slow, but I think they'll just have an easier time of it against Georgia State. Uh, Georgia State defense, they're way down right now. They're almost near the bottom of the FBS teams, if I'm not mistaken. So I've got Vanderbilt in and over here. All right. Next up is UTSA taking on Texas. Well, Texas is 2-0, and well, they obviously were great in that game against Michigan. So impressive, really, right? With their quarterback play, both quarterbacks certainly here. We've seen a pretty strong move on Texas here this week, up to 35 here in this one, and maybe it is going to be a little sister thing type of thing. It isn't really when you're talking about UTSA, but still, you know what I mean. And maybe they can pull the brakes off on them a little bit. I don't know if they'll win this one by 5 touchdowns. I'm going to actually take San Antonio here plus 35. I think Texas. Maybe they could name the score, but I'm going to think they're going to draw it back here. Maybe this one's 41-10, something like that. There's some things where you could say UTSA. Look, they got crushed by Texas State last week, but we were all over Texas State. I think I got a pretty good feel for this team right now, and I'm going to end up taking UTSA. Maybe Texas. Look, yours is probably the favorite right now for the Heisman, but they got another quarterback they could put in there too. Maybe he could roll it up, but I'm going to take UTSA in this one to cover here. Feels like I might be in the minority a little bit. Handicappers are preferring Texas by about a 2-1 margin. Widely reported steam came on Texas, and widely reported steam came on the over. I'm seeing it exactly the opposite here right now, and I've got UTSA. Hey, there's some steam coming in on some CFL. We might need a CFL pick. I don't think I'm going to give one out after yesterday's bomb. So Ottawa and Hamilton, game total going under 50.5. We've seen unders here of late in the CFL right now. I've gotten beat on some totals over, right? So just noting the move here, widely reported steam right now, Ottawa and Hamilton, game total under in the CFL. All right, next up, Hawaii on the mainland, going to take on Sam here in this one. And I don't mind maybe Hawaii here to hang in at this inflated number. Maybe they can stay within a field goal. I know there's always concerns here, but so far it feels like the widely reported steam came in on Sam. I'm probably more interested in trying to take Hawaii here, but I don't think I can do it publicly. I might just buy a little extra and maybe go with Hawaii. Widely reported steam also came in on the under, and I don't see how that's going to happen. I would think Sam Houston could get 4 touchdowns here against Hawaii. I've got a Hawaii certainly with 3 touchdowns or more. They're going to have to get a little more if they're going to cover here in this one. Last week the money was, when Sam played UCF, what was it, 45-14? UCF got the win in that one, and I would think Hawaii, they did have a week to prepare and get over here to the mainland. So don't forget, Hawaii is, turning into a passing team, certainly if they haven't been already, with their coach and quarterback combo. So maybe it falls right about the number. I'm not sure. I'm just going to go over here this one. The original number was what, 52, maybe even 51, all the way down to 48 here. I got to think they're in the 50s. How about 28-24, Sam? That's right on the line. And I'm going to take the over as my play here. I don't know about the side, actually, in this one. Maybe I just do Sam money line. All right. Next up, South Florida is going to take on Southern Mississippi here in this one. You've got South Florida here, double-digit favorite, and they probably should be able to take out Southern Miss by more than double digits, I would think. USF looked absolutely terrific last week against Alabama. Obviously, they were in that game all the way, and that'll probably make them pretty popular with the public today. So I'm just going to take them here on the show. I'm already paying a little bit of a penalty, I think, when the look-aheads were about 10.5 or 11, up to 12 here right now. So you guys got to tell me if I'm missing any late spread moves with all these games. I'm going a little fast, but I can kind of take a peek, make sure there hasn't been too much of a move here. There was some early lines. Apparently, Circa opened this one. They had their early look ahead. Of course, they have those early look aheads that come out on Sunday at 2 Eastern and 11 Pacific. They actually opened South Florida up at 7. So that was a miss. That was a miss because South Florida is probably going to roll this one by more than 2 touchdowns. I'm taking them here as my play, and I've got them to roll. I would think this one, total 58.5. Yeah, it was as low as. Well, it was lower than this anyway. I don't know if I can say if it was any lower than maybe 56, but still, I've got to think this one gets possibly to 60 points. Maybe South Florida here, 38-23 or so. That gets me over, but I think South Florida is the better play here right now. South Florida looks good, and I think this is a mismatch, actually, even on the road. All right. A little bit tricky here, you guys. I'm going in chronological order, and this is the last game in the rotation. So if you're doing it like I am with a big rotation with a bunch of notes on it, then you might want to just scroll on down to the bottom of the sheet where Kennesaw and San Jose State, this game's been moved to, I think that's a 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, maybe it's 7 here. But I think Kennesaw is going to be live here. And look, I love what San Jose State's doing. I think San Jose State is going to be, back a little bit as far as where they are with that program, right? But I'm not so sure about 3 touchdowns or 18 points even here. This line was 20. It's down to 18 right now. Look, I think there's going to be some scoring here on this one. And San Jose State, they're a team that does kind of start fast in years past and then kind of let teams like this back in the games a little bit. So for me, I'm going to end up here on Kennesaw here as my play. It was all the way up to 45, but now down here to 43. I don't see the game the way everybody else does necessarily here in this one. I think we can get close to 50. Maybe San Jose State wins this one 31 to 17. 31-17, that would be 48. That would get us to an over. That's the way I've got to go. I'm taking Kennesaw State plus the points here against San Jose State. I mean, look, I'm a fan of Coach Ken, certainly at San Jose State. I think he can thrive at a school like that, and you know, certainly last week, right, when you got San Jose State able to win against Air Force. Coach Ken was coaching, if you know what I mean. He kind of knew how to gauge the service academy a little bit. So he's a pretty good coach. I think he's pretty underrated still, certainly. And he could coach a service academy uh, like he did. But here against Kennesaw, they are 0-2 now. They're in FBS here, obviously. Uh, Kennesaw so far not doing much on offense, but they are playing San Jose here. So I got to think this one is going to be Kennesaw going to be able to cover here in this one. I think they'll be able to score probably 17, maybe even more here in this one. I've got Kennesaw. All right. Is the chat broken or is it me? All right, Toledo and Mississippi State in this one. You got Mississippi State 10-point favorite here against Toledo. And, well, I don't know, man. I'm kind of a fan of Toledo, actually, in this one. Look, Toledo, they got that rocket offense, I guess, if you know what I mean. And Mississippi State also likes to get going here a little bit on offense, and that might be their downfall against a team like Toledo. Watch out, actually. Mississippi State, they didn't get the money last week. In that game against ASU. What a game that was, right? Against ASU and Toledo. They did beat UMass last week. I don't know if that I thought they did an okay job. I thought they got a bad rap in that game. I'm going to think Toledo here is going to be able to score maybe 4 touchdowns here. I'm sorry, 3 touchdowns and some change here in this one because they've got a good offense. It's just a matter of can they get enough here against the SEC Bulldogs. The handicappers are on Toledo. I've got to agree with them probably. So if Toledo does hang in here and gets this money, it's not going to be because they've slowed Mississippi State down, I don't think. I've got this one going over here in this one, maybe in the range of 34-27. Yeah, that gets you home. 34-27. Give me the over here in this one, and maybe by single digits, if you know what I mean. All right. I got some comments. Perky's helping me out here. Thank you, Perk. He's going to think about Toledo here. It's his only underdog. They've got an offense. It's just a matter of will it function against Mississippi State. And I'm going to say it will. At least enough to get this game to go, get that money anyway, or get the over. All right, here we go. Another SEC matchup of, SEC taking on New Mexico here. Auburn minus 26 in this one against the Mountain West Lobos. And, want to try to find my way helping with New Mexico, but I'm not sure. Look, we had Cal against Auburn last week. I get it. Auburn's got my man, Deontay Scott on the team, and big fan of his, of course. And Auburn here against New Mexico, though, man, I've got a smasheroo, I feel like, after that game last week. They should be able to just roll and run it up. It was 28.5 or so. Now it's 26.5. Why wouldn't Auburn be able to win this one? It feels like by 4 touchdowns against, I don't know, the worst defense in the country maybe here. So I think Auburn can roll this one here. They scored 73 in week 1 against in their FCS game. So I'm taking Auburn here, man, to put up a number 42, maybe 49 points in this one. Maybe it's 42-14. Maybe it's 49-14. I don't think New Mexico's going to get more than that. Give me Auburn here to roll by more than 4 touchdowns against New Mexico. Perky says, why not just lay in the first half and get it over with? Get in, get out. All right, next up, Air Force taking on Baylor. And I don't like Air Force's chances here in this. We talked about them just a moment ago there, right, in that matchup against Coach Ken, wasn't it, last week? Anyways, let me roll here with this one. Baylor going to take the attention of handicappers certainly today, but the data spread is dangerous. You got a minus 16 here or 17, right? And the total 41. So you got to do that thread the needle thing here. I mean, what are you going to do? 31-7. Well, that's 38. Maybe it is going to go. Can Air Force actually get more than a touchdown here against Baylor? I don't know. They might only get 7 points, so maybe 31-7 is the call here. Maybe even 27-7. It just feels like that's the way this one's going to be. If I'm going to take an under, this one's probably going to be it. In this one, Air Force has been not good, and now they got to go play a Baylor team that's 2-0 against the spread so far. Yeah, Cam Rising got knocked out of that game last week, but so far Air Force has lost the spread by 14 points or so, I think, in both games. So I'm going to go under here in this one, but man, I think Baylor can probably get this money. I just feel like I want to stick with the under here as my play. I might come with a premium on this one. Just going to check out a little bit more information here, but man, Baylor feels pretty good. My official play for the show is going to be on the under here. I've got this one certainly at least 24-7, and maybe it's 31-7. That'll start flirting with that total. That's the thing that worries me a little bit. Jarek White says, how about Baylor first quarter? That seems to be okay. But Perky says it sounds like he's going to be peeking in with Air Force here in this one. They've been so bad on offense. Hopefully they can pick it up, man, because it's just not right. Here's the other thing, though, not addressing it to Perky or anything like that. I'm addressing this to everybody. And we'll see, right? Just speculation. But how will the service academies fare in the days now of the NIL? I don't think we can pay them, right? All right, maybe we'll give them some extra shore leave or something, or whatever they have in the Air Force. All right, Central Florida and TCU here in this one, with TCU just barely a favorite here in this one. But man, I think I'm going to be favoring TCU actually in this one. These teams aren't pretty, it feels like right now. In fact, handicappers can't even decide, it looks like. I'm showing it basically relatively split down the middle. If you want to know what I'm talking about when I say the handicappers, make sure you go over and get my winnable package today for whatever it is. I think it's $5 or something, but you'll get all those handicapper picks and see how many handicappers I found. They got to be reputable handicappers. They might be on some of those popular sites and things like that. They might be some of those famous handicappers. They might be dinging over here in some of those Telegram channels that I subscribe to, or I see all the pics of the famous handicappers. I'm a little bit, eccentric. So you might not have all this information. You might not want it, but I'll provide it to you if you get my package over there at Winnable. You'll get over 300 picks. You'll get my picks, and you'll get over 300 picks from other handicappers on every game. Some of them have 25 picks on a game, and some of them are overwhelming on one team over another. Find out who those are by getting that package over at Winnable. Okay, here I'm just going to give out side and total. Don't get the package. I like TCU in the under. I've got my first double play here. I figure this one's going to be 34 to 27 or so. Maybe it'll be 31-27, just somewhere right in there. I got to think for me, it's going to be TCU here. UCF does have pretty strong ground game here, and I think that eats up some of the clock here right now. TCU, will they try to bottle them up here? We see a little bit of change of pace, for example, with UCF with Jefferson at quarterback. TCU's got a pretty good defense so far. This is going to be a really good game, man. I'm going to take TCU in the under. Little double play here in this one. Perky says, thank you to Perky. He's hanging out, making plays with me. TCU money line, parlayed with LSU and TCU. Oh, straight bet, TCU. Okay, Georgia and Kentucky. In this one, you got Georgia here, big favorite, of course. 22 points here. It was as high as 24, so we do have a move here a little bit on Kentucky. If anything, to me, it feels like it's creating a little bit of value. I'm going to take Georgia to roll here right now. There's plenty of support for Kentucky. The widely reported steam did come in on Kentucky. Handicappers, I think they're relatively split for the most part. But what was Kentucky doing last week? That was really a bizarre performance in their game against South Carolina. They were favored by 10 points and flat out lost the game, and they didn't even, what did they get? 6 points. So I've got concerns right now about Kentucky here at this point. They seem to have some issues at quarterback. So UK has always been in this game over the last couple of years, despite the great Georgia dominance. But here, for me, I think it's come back full circle right now. I've got Georgia to win this one, and I've got it maybe in the range of, let's call it 34-7 here in this one. That might even tell you where I'm headed. This one could be a premium for me later on. Here comes a little bit of steam here on that added board. This is game number 941, 942, Western Illinois, the Leathernecks. I watched them last week, and this total is moving over at Illinois State. It was 49.5. We're seeing it right now up to 50 or higher. Western Illinois, Illinois State total moving over 51 right now. Steam to the over here on the morning steam. All right. There we go, Georgia. I'm on Georgia here in this one. And man, Kentucky, they scored 6 points last week. Can they get 6 points this week? All right. One that, well, I guess everyone's going to look forward to in this one. Everybody wants to watch Colorado and Colorado State. I probably want to watch Colorado State here. And why wouldn't I take Colorado State? Yeah, we've missed out on all the value, so we're on it as a free play here in this one. I just think Jay Norvell here, he'll outclass, you got basically a pretty darn good coach in Norvell against a guy who really doesn't know what he's doing, quite frankly. Yeah, I'm going to get some great. What Colorado's done is absolutely amazing considering where that program was. We forget this, but, it's almost like, why do we keep, looking for all that attention from the coach when it should be about the players? Now, Shiloh Sanders obviously is out of this one, and still got Shador and everything, so it'll be just fine here at this point. But for me, I would think in this one, Colorado 2-4, last 6 games is road favorite. Also, Buffalo's 3-7 against the spread, last 10 non-conference games coming into this one for Colorado State. Last 6 meetings has been all Colorado. They've won them all here, but last 2 meetings have gone over. I don't know if we're going to get to 60, though. It just seems like Colorado games are they keep inflating the total here a little bit. I'm going under probably as my play, but taking Colorado State as my official play here on the show. And you know what? I'm going to take some money line too. Maybe feels like a premium, but Colorado is still got the talent. They should be able to win this game and keep winning this series here. But Norvell 26-18 against the spread as an underdog, and I'm going to take the Rams here. I like the interviews that they had. Not part of the handicap, but if anybody saw the interviews that they had for this week's run up, I'm taking the Rams. All right. Berkey likes the Rams here as well. He says they should have won last year's game, and what a game it was. I mean, that was one of the best games all season last year, Colorado and Colorado State. All right. Next up, we're heading to the Rose Bowl here with Indiana. The Rose Bowl that never happened. Indiana here, Indiana fans, they are flocking to this game. They said, Indiana always wanted to go to the Rose Bowl here, and we get them here with taking on UCLA in this one, man. And hard to find many cappers on UCLA here. Indiana is one of the most popular teams among handicappers today, maybe the most popular team here today. Laying the points against UCLA, a field goal or so, and quite frankly, I'm probably gonna be with them here in this one. I like the Hoosiers to get this one. The widely reported steam did come in on UCLA here, but I don't know. For me, you got Indiana so far. They beat FIU 31-7. They beat their AA opponent last week. That was the Western Illinois game, right? 77-3, and you got Indiana and their coach came in here from James Madison. I think Indiana's got a good looking program here. You got Rourke at quarterback, from the Rourke family, the quarterback from Ohio. He's quarterbacking the Hoosiers right now. They've got a pretty experienced offensive line here. The spread numbers maybe don't necessarily favor Indiana. They've been a bad team on the road, especially, come on, road favorite. I mean, you just don't see this, right? So it's got to indicate something a little bit. Signetti with James Madison 6-2 against the spread as a road favorite. That kind of helps me here. Look, the Bruins got that win. I get it. They beat Hawaii 2 weeks ago. They were off a week here getting ready for this one. Yeah, that's what you want to do against Indiana here coming in. Big game, certainly. You want to get off to a good start here, but you do have the Bruins here 4-1 against the spread as a home underdog, and 10-6 last 4 years as a home underdog. And this is the first meeting ever between these two teams, and they're in the same league here at this point. So, like I said, I thought if out of the two teams, I think UCLA is the team that could make its way back to the Pac-12 when they finally figure out who's in, who's out. I think USC's long gone. I think they're going to be in the Big Ten. They might feel that kinship with UCLA, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for UCLA, right? In the win-loss column a little bit. This would be a good place to start, but they're an underdog today. Give me Indiana here, maybe 28-23. How about that? Total was as high as 52.5 here, and now 46.5. Give me the Hoosiers tonight on the road. Who's your daddy? Next up is Kent taking on Tennessee here, and that spread says 49, and the total here 63. So, well, even I can probably try to do the math on this one. Let me see. What is that? 56-7. 56-7, is that right? I gotta think Tennessee might let up here. Maybe Kent can get this money. Maybe they can get it over. All they need is 10 points, probably. Can they get 10 points here? I don't know. Tennessee so far, what can you say? As awesome as they've been so far, they've won these games by 53 points. Let me get some steam here. Charleston, Southern, and Richmond. This is 947, 948 right now. Charleston, Southern, and Richmond game total moving under 47.5 down to 47, maybe 46.5 here right now. Charleston, Southern, and Richmond FCS move here. Also, we did have another move just moments before that. It was Georgia Southern, game 918, 919. Georgia Southern, we talked about it, their game against South Carolina State. The steam came in on the under. Now it's come in on Georgia Southern, and they were a 27-point favorite. Right now, they are up to 28 or more right now, Georgia Southern against South Carolina State. All right, we're keeping you abreast on that. Anyways, for me, Tennessee here, I'm going to take Kent State. I'm going to do another double play here. I don't know. I mean, 56-10 is that's Kent State and over. 56-10 is Kent State and over. If Tennessee rolls, I think I'm guaranteed at least the over here in this one. Look, Tennessee's winning games so far by what? 53 points a game. They're covering by 30 points so far. So that would that would put them in probably into the 70 margin here. So I don't know. Kent State lost to St. Francis last week. They were favored by 17 and a half. They might get rolled here, but I'll take my chances and take the over here. But I'll put a little on Kent State too. Maybe it is. Maybe they can keep them to 8 touchdowns here in this one. But I think I prefer the over here in this one. Kent State and Tennessee. All right. We got a few. We got more. Stick around. We got at least 10, 7, 8, 9 more here. Rice and Houston. Hope you're enjoying this. Let me know down below, or tell Mikey you liked it. Hey, Mikey, he liked it. Rice and Houston. You got Houston here favored 4.5, total 44. That total kind of scares me a little bit. The widely reported steam did come in on the over. It was as low as 41.5. We're dealing here with a 44 right now. Well, I would think if it's going to be 44, this is going to give Rice a chance to stay in here. This is going to be a close game. I'm not sure what to expect from these teams. This one is pretty tough. Not sure I can get a premium out of this. The steam also came in on Rice. Houston, of course, they lost to UNLV. That doesn't look so bad right now because of how UNLV is. But also, Rice looked good against Oklahoma. So I don't know what's going on with them. As far as Houston is concerned, let's see. As far as Rice is concerned, they lost to Sam Houston. Now, I'm going to think for me, I'm going to take Rice. This has got to be a close game, right? You figure it's 4.5, 24-21 here, probably. I'm not sure of the total. Just take the points here in a close game. This is ranked second to last in the confidence meter behind that other game here in this one. Not too fond of it. Leicester leading Crystal Palace 2-0. Fulham over West Ham 1-0. There, I'm looking at some scores here. Leverkusen 4-1. Frankfurt and Wolfsburg 1-1. Freiburg and Bochum 2-1. Freiburg. Stuttgart over Mönchengladbach 3-1 right there. Okay, and Manchester City halftime 2-1 over Brentford. Okay, I'm keeping up on the scores here. Trying to do the show. All right, a few comments here. Perky's got his Padre logo now. He had to switch it because of Padres. He's taking Houston there. All right, that's what I thought too. I'm taking Rice. Maryland and Virginia here in this one. We got Virginia here. An underdog to Maryland. The move is on Virginia here, obviously. I've also seen the total here. Oh, my goodness. 57.5. This one opened much lower than this. Leicester just scored, it looks like. 2-1.
Final.
All right. Final in. Thank you to those of you joining us watching Bologna and Como 2-2 final. Here we go. In this one, so last week Maryland blew that lead. Of course, they were favorites to Michigan State. Ended up choking that one. So not too thrilled right now with Maryland. I think this is a tough game for them, quite frankly. I'm not sure how they were made favorites here. I think they got the wrong team's favorite. I don't know about wrong team favorite here, but I think Virginia is going to win this game probably. No matter what, I can't think it's going to come anywhere close to 57.5. It feels like to me. There was only 41 points in that game last week. Virginia, they were down to Wake Forest before they won 31-30, but that was against Wake. Virginia here, they're certainly a little bit better yardage-wise here in this one. Handicappers really prefer Virginia. I think I do too, but I'm going to take the under here. I don't know if they get anywhere close to 57.5. I'll be on the conservative side and say maybe it's 24-21, but it feels more like 21-17 UVA. Quite frankly, that would be a premium under. So let's just call it 24-21. I think Virginia probably wins it here, and I don't know if this game reaches. That's 45. That would be a premium here. Actually, I might have had that projection wrong. How about 20? Maybe 27-24. That still gets it home here. Needs a power rating adjustment. Let me mark that there here. So okay, that's how we work it here. That's how I work it anyway. Here we go. Perky says UVA money line. It's a tarp. Next up, we're almost done with all these games. Thank you for listening, everybody. Got 165 of you here with me, so appreciate you. BYU and Wyoming here in this one. BYU nearly a double-digit favorite on the road. I probably think they probably can get the money here today, but I don't know if I can lay it and tell everybody I'm doing it. It feels like it could be actually right around 10. Maybe they could get to a 2-touchdown win here, mostly because I'm worried that Wyoming is going to actually have trouble scoring in this one. BYU, they upset SMU last week as a 12.5-point underdog. Maybe BYU will be okay actually this season. Wyoming lost against Idaho. It wasn't pretty last week, so I question whether or not they can get any points here. You would think maybe the sharps are coming in on Wyoming. The handicappers prefer Wyoming, but I don't know if I do here. And that total is going to be tough at 40. Can't necessarily, I don't think I can give this one out, man. It's close. I've got to think 24-14 here. Man, that's 38. That's a 10-point win. So I can't do BYU. Just going to give out the under here. It's close, you guys. But I'll say if Wyoming does get more than 2 touchdowns, they're obviously going to cover. I don't think this is going to be 35-21 or anything like that. 35-24. I don't think so. I think we're looking at a lower scoring game. I'm going to take the under here as my play, under 40 here in this one. Wyoming pretty bad offensively so far. They're certainly near the bottom right now for sure. And their defense though hasn't looked as good either, so a little bit worried. Okay, New Mexico State. And not New Mexico State, you guys, and at Fresno State here in this one you've got the Lobos here, a 19.5-point underdog, and the total 47.5 in this one. Yeah, maybe Fresno State. That looks like a little bit of value here, actually, laying just 19.5. I don't know if I might be saving this one. I'm going to look more towards the total here. Widely reported steam came in on the under. I think this time it will be tougher for New Mexico State to score. They might be stuck on 10 here. If they get 2 touchdowns, they're probably going to be live to cover. This one I've got maybe 34-10 or so. I'm going to be leaning under here for sure. New Mexico State, they look bad against Southeast Missouri, but they almost pulled off that game against Liberty last week. So it was 24-15. Aggies were ahead in the fourth quarter. Then Liberty got those 2 late touchdowns. Fresno beat Sacramento State last week, but I think they're probably a little better than we're giving them credit for. I'm going to take the under here in this one, in the range of maybe 34-10 here. That's about 3 points under. That sounds like a Fresno cover, so I might be looking at that one here later on today. All right. Finally, it's going to be my San Diego State Aztecs against Cal. Steam came in on Cal, and maybe Perky will chime in here and give us some, give us a little bit of pep talk, because it doesn't feel real comfortable right now for San Diego State in this one after Cal. We had them last week against Auburn. We were on them pretty strong, I thought. Remember, we were on Cal earlier in the week on the show when the steam came in, and I was like, oh man, look at this steam coming in. I like this game. I like Cal over Auburn, and sure enough, Cal was terrific. Of course, it helps when you're +5 in the turnover department. So for Cal here, they do have some injuries coming in, but San Diego State, that offense that they've bragged about supposed to be so good, hasn't looked good so far. So hopefully San Diego State can get a couple of touchdowns here, but they need 3 touchdowns to get this one over the total, and that worries me a lot. Perky will take San Diego State plus the points. So let's let Perky be representative. Yeah, and you're always trying to say don't necessarily because I'm worried. I'm just going to take the total under, you guys. I have problems right now with look. I believe in Sean Lewis. I just don't know if the San Diego State was equipped necessarily. Yeah, he brought in some of his guys too, but I think he's going to need a little bit of time to work it out right now with what he needs to make that type of offense work here at San Diego State. So I'm going to take the under and figure. Look, if Perky's got it, if Perky's got San Diego State covering in this one, I'm going to call it 31-14 here. Cal wins 31-14. That means Aztecs get the money. Maybe even let's call it 28-14. So give Perky a little boost there. 28-4. I'm not adjusting my power rating. Just want to have some fun with Perk. And handicappers also preferring the under here in this one. That's it for college football. Hopefully, you got some of those other steam plays. I was hoping we'd actually get more. I'm sure they're going to start rolling in here in a few minutes when we start talking Major League Baseball right now. So let's get rolling with this, and I'm not going to give you much of a preview. We want to get this show done so I can get my FCS bets in here, but I do got some Major League Baseball. You better be alive in the playoffs if you're going to get your game previewed here today. Let's take a look. Red Sox and the Yankees with Bayo coming in here going up against Garrett Cole. In the early start, 1 Eastern and 10 Pacific. With Cole, you got 3.36 ERA for Bello, a 4.7 ERA. Bello's gone over in 16 of his 24 total decisions so far. So this total here, I believe, let me take a look. I think it's still 8.5. I'm still going to go over here in this one with Boston and the Yankees today. Call up my market reports too, because I've been so knee deep all night in baseball that in football, the baseball got about 45 minutes worth of work. So all right, so yeah, for me in this one, I would think I've got to try the over here today with the Red Sox and the Yankees. Like I said, Bello's got some pretty woeful numbers. We saw yesterday, of course, Yankees celebrating that big homer, and that cost us. Well, it didn't cost us, but we were on the under on the show yesterday. But all right, I'm going to take over here with the Yankees and the Red Sox. Dre likes the over. Dre was waiting so patiently to come back with baseball. Hey, the Rams are getting steamed. I'm not talking about Colorado State. I'm not talking about Fordham. I'm not talking about Virginia Commonwealth. I'm talking about the Los Angeles Rams are getting steamed here right now in their matchup on Sunday. How about that? They were +1. They were maybe even a pick 'em here, I think, against the Cardinals. But seeing some sharps coming in here. There was earlier steam this week on the Cardinals. It was a -2-point favorite, but man, can the Rams after I get it, man, but no, they're having the injuries that they're having right now. All right, let's keep it moving here right now with Major League Baseball. We're going to be done with the show with the Royals taking on the Pirates. Hey, Team Steam, great job yesterday. I'm sure I can't take you off the Royals here again today. So, well, I kind of planned the show a little bit. I'm like, okay, the chat's going to be all over the Royals, so I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to give out the total, and then I'll just say, hey, look at everybody in the chat. Consensus play. Thomas, where are you? Take the Royals. I'm going to give out the under in this game, and maybe I'll just move the Royals to premium status. I feel like I want to take the Royals here for sure against the Bucks. It feels like the Royals are on a roll here right now. You guys had them yesterday. They put up those runs. I thought it was going to be an under. I didn't have a good MLB time yesterday for sure. So got a little steam coming in right now on the added board. This is 9:52, 9:53, Idaho State and North Dakota. The North Dakota Fighting Sioux. Oh, do we call? They were 11-point favorites, and now they're a 12-point favorite here in this one. North Dakota against Idaho State, 951, 952, and they are here taking steam right now, North Dakota. All right, Royals and the Pirates here. I'm going to take this one under. I've got Waka probably here for a pretty strong performance today here. Yeah, maybe I like the Royals in this one, but I'm going to give out the under. For Waka, he's got 3.34 ERA. He's gone under in 15 of 26 starts this season. Keller, a 3.85 ERA. We know he's been pretty strong here this season. We know of late, maybe not as strong as he was, but I'm going to take the under 8 runs here with the Royals and the Pirates. Next up, Mets and Phillies. Man, the Mets pounded yesterday, got all those runs against the Phillies. We gave out the over here on the show, certainly. And I don't know, with Severino today, though, I would think I'm going to try the under, actually, in this one at 9 under 20. Is that right? Yeah, 9 under here. So I've got to go under in this one with Severino going up here against Allard. Yes, Sevy is a 3.74 ERA right now. 10-6 are the Mets with Severino. I figure they probably can be competitive again here with Allard going the left-hander. So far, a 3.5 ERA for Allard. Does have a 3.10 batting average against, but I'm going to end up here on the under with the Mets and the Phillies here today. In this one, I want to give you maybe a few trends, but man, we're making this show's going long. You guys have been so patient with me here. And Rays and Guardians in this one. Hey, Cantillo, he of the near no-hitter last time, but today with the Guardians here against the Rays, I might be willing to come back the other way and take the over here in this one. These two teams have been kind of solid unders here right now, but I would think here with Cantillo, look, that was a great outing, no doubt about it. Take a look at the numbers here a little bit now for me. Still got a 6 ERA in 5 starts, despite how good that was. Rasmussen, still great numbers. We know he kind of opens a little bit here and he can run a little deeper, but 2.79 ERA for Rasmussen. 3-0, pardon me, 3-0 to the over so far for Rasmussen. And that's the way I'm going to actually go here. I'm going to take over 8.5. I think it might be 8 here actually right now. Well, it is at Bovada, and well, I better not say anything. They'll probably knocking on my door here. I don't use these Nevada apps, but it is 8 over at Bovada. I'll grade myself at 8.5. I've got the over here with the Rays and the Guardians here in this one today. All right, Orioles and Tigers. I didn't have the Tigers starter here just yet, but I do know I think it is going to be right now. I think we do have it actually. It's an opener for sure. Ty Madden going to be the starter here. Let me write that in. Ty Madden will be the starter here. That will make him an underdog. Here, what I put $1.75 total 8 there right now. But man, that was a rough estimate. I'll tell you, I'd probably type that one in with no pitcher blind about many hours ago. Because right now I'm showing the Orioles are down to about $1.45 or so. Here's a little college football team on that on the FCS board here. Central Connecticut taking the steam right now against St. Francis. We talked about St. Francis and that big upset last week, but right now they're taking Central Connecticut here at plus 10.5. I don't know, man. St. Francis looked pretty good last week, and now getting a little bit of a discount here, huh? I got to get off the air here, you guys. Let me give out some my baseball plays and wrap this show up. Orioles here at $1.45 here, big time discount. Corbin Burns goes over a pretty good clip, despite his sensible numbers here. Certainly for Baltimore here, Total's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games, but I'm going to take the over here actually with Baltimore and Detroit today. Detroit's having, a pretty good run here, certainly of late, having won 5 of their last 6 games overall. Of course, we did have the winner here on the under yesterday in the game between the Orioles and the Tigers. All right, a few more here, rolling through them. Reds and Twins in this one with Martinez going up against Woods Richardson. For Martinez here, he has a 3.46 ERA. Woods Richardson a 3.96 ERA. Let me interrupt with a little steam here because this one goes off in just a half an hour. Top of the board, FCS board here, Lehigh and Long Island. Total being steamed right now under 48.5, quickly moving down to 47.5 here. Steam coming in, Lehigh and Long Island. Game number 929 on 9:30. All right, Reds and Twins here, showing the total there at 8.5, and I've got to go under if that's the case here with Martinez and Woods Richardson. For Martinez, as I said, 3.46 ERA. Woods Richardson, 3.96 ERA. But Cincinnati's gone under in 6 of their last 7 games on the road. So I'm going to end up taking the under here. I think Woods Richardson can be effective here against the Reds. I'll take the under today. Do I have all totals here on my plays in Major League Baseball? There's Dre. He likes the Twins. Thanks, Dre. Thank you for being my co-handicapper in baseball. How come the chat? Maybe it's just a weekend thing. Nobody wants to chat with me on the weekends. So lonely. The Dodgers and Braves here. We know where we're going under here. We know where we're going. We're going under here. Dodgers and Braves. We had another under last night, right? We took it under here on the show. It went under, so why not take more Braves action under? You got Flaherty and Sale. I might as well at least talk about 2 decent pitchers here, right? And 7.5, that seems like a gift right now. 7.5, pretty much all over. Maybe a little bit juice to the under, but maybe not. Maybe 7.5 flat. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these 2 teams have gone under. Atlanta's gone under in 13 of their last 14 games at home right now, and you got Chris Sale on the mound against Jack Flaherty, so I got to go under, man. Sale's gone under in 15 of 26 results so far. Also, Sale, a 2.38 ERA right now, 16-3 record overall. Man, the Braves need to keep winning. The Mets need to keep winning. Going to have some exciting baseball back-to-back. You have the Mets game at 4:05, the Braves game at 7:20. So 2 big games there. All right. I wish ESPN, I don't need to know what I don't need to know what's going on college game day as a bulletin, as a sports bulletin. Okay. Send me sports bulletins, please, ESPN. Give me the under here with the Braves and the Dodgers on the morning steam. All right. Just about done here with the show. Dre says under for sure. Perky says he likes the Braves and Sale over the Dodgers today. Perky's, we're going against those Dodgers, but you were right, Perky. Also got to avoid this team, the Diamondbacks, and they're favored here today. They took the widely reported steam here this morning already to move up to $1.55 or so in this one. And with Myers going up against Brandon Pfaadt, I'm going to be going over here. Now, I know Myers has some pretty good numbers so far, and yeah, Jeff Schramm's going to warn me about this Brewers offense, but remember, the Brewers are still 15 games to the over so far this season. So for Brandon Pfaadt, he's 17-11 to the over in his 28 totals decisions. This total here, hopefully it is still at 8.5. I have a feeling we're going to see some. Oh, wow. No, I think it's 8.5. Yeah, it's shaded to the over. I've got the over here. I don't think I have a side yet here on the morning steam. I'm taking the over. Well, that's probably a good thing, right? Because totals are my totals are my thing. All right. Diamondbacks. So Perky says maybe you just got to take them. And maybe it's a little bit of an emotional hedge there for Perky. Really, we're not even that worried about Arizona, right? We got to just take care of our business. And yeah, you got to hope that the Mets and the Braves are kind of fighting each other out there a little bit. Dre says, give him the Brewers. All right. I think I got one more, and we'll go right to Perky here. Oh, I got a couple more. But we've got the Padres on the road here against the Giants in this one with Joe Musgrove on the mound. I've seen handicappers so far. Uh, not going to get a lot of opinions today with my research from the cappers on a football day, but so far they've been heavy on the Giants so far in this one. And I'm going over, though, actually. These two teams, might think about under here if you think about what these teams have been doing here a little bit, of late. I mean, Giants have gone under in 4 of their last 5 at home, but I'm going to take the over at 7.5 here with these two right now. Saw the Padres deal a shutout yesterday. I called for the over yesterday and whiffed. So, hey, Dylan Cease, 1,000th career strikeout yesterday in that game. I'm going to take the over, though, tonight, Padres and Giants. And Dre's going Padres and over. And I agree with Perky, I think, but man, the heartbreak every time. Dre on the Padres. That could be a consensus play right there. A couple more maybe here. I think I've really just done one more here with the Astros and the Angels. We're seeing a goal here right now by Forrest. Forrest has scored a goal here against Liverpool, 1-0. All right, Verlander going up here. Here's one where I think the widely reported steam did come in on the Angels here in this one, knocking this one down to maybe $1.70. That's even lower than the price I have on the screen right there. So I don't know if that's the right call there or not. But for me, with this total sitting here right now at mostly 8.5s, but I am starting to see some 9s at some of the square books right now. So I'm going to take over in this one with the Astros. Oh, let me make sure. Yeah, over in this one, Astros and Angels as my play. Man, I don't have a side at all here in this one. Well, that steam came in on the Angels. Hey, here's one more maybe college football steam. We're going to be out of here. 9:33, 9:34. Good old Mercyhurst. They're taking on Bobby Morris. And Robert Morris was a 13-point favorite. It's now up to 14 or so. And the steam came in on Robert Morris here on the morning steam. All the bells and whistles are going off. That means we're approaching kickoff here. But I think I need some time to mostly refresh my palate and also maybe get a little breakfast and make some more plays. I want to thank everybody here for joining me here on the morning steam. I guess Rangers and Mariners. I guess you could say the Mariners have that much of a chance here. I don't even know if I looked at that game, but I just noticed there was one game left. Maybe that's where I left off because I wasn't sure. I was like, you know what, the Mariners. But I just want to mention that Max Scherzer's pitching in that game today, and he's an underdog. You don't get that too often, but Seattle's like $1.60 today against Max Scherzer. They opened as low as $1.35. You're probably going to have to take a flyer on Max, aren't you? Give me Max today against Seattle. I get it, runaway favorite. Seager hit the disabled list or whatever, but like I said, Max is out here pitching his heart out after they're done or whatever. And, Gilbert's been solid, no doubt. 3.15 ERA this season, Max 3.89 ERA. One more for you here, North Carolina Central and North Carolina 9-13, 9-14. This one is headed under right now with these two teams. Let's see if I got it here. Under 57 between North Carolina Central and North Carolina. That's going to do it. I've totally lost my place, serious, and that's gonna do it for the show. Come on, I've had enough. I've not never had enough of you guys. Thank you so much. Join me here tomorrow for NFL action here 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific. 2.5 hours of talking without a break to you guys. So appreciate everyone who did find the opportunity to comment in the chat. So appreciate everybody. There were two CFL games, but I don't know if I'm going to mess with them. I don't even know why I had them typed in because I'm not probably going to be able to fire. If Carla was here, maybe I'd look at it. But got the Red Blacks on the road against the Ticats. Here, we already mentioned the total moved, right? In that one. And the Owls are going to take on the Stamps here. Let's see if we have any steam on that. Otherwise, the show's over. Thanks, everybody. Catch you tomorrow here on the Morning Steam. Want to thank everyone, man. Well over 150 likes during this whole show, and I just sit here and keep talking, but gots to run. Hey, visit me over at the Winnable app. This is how you can get more play. If we didn't give you enough plays, you can get more plays from me. My best plays are over at the Winnable app. Also, check out that report, that consensus report with over 300 plays from cappers and a real easy, concise listing. Every game is listed with how many cappers I found on each game. And sometimes I agreed with them, sometimes I didn't. So you'll get my plays as well throughout the day. I got my first package of plays loaded up for the noon games. I'm going to come in with 2 more packages of college football. I'll also have the UFC package tonight for the big card from the Sphere here in Las Vegas. UFC Noche with that spectacular main event here tonight. Of course, 2 big championship bouts tonight. Of course, when you got uh, uh, O'Malley going up against Ivalishvili, and you also have, of course, Alexa Grasso taking on Valentina Shevchenko. So should be a fun card. It's going to be spectacular in the Sphere. They're going to have like little movies playing in the background to distract us. I don't know how it's going to look, but should be pretty cool. And they've already kind of teased it a little bit that it is going to be awesome and not be all, what is this? So join us tonight here with our live stream for UFC Noche tonight with the crew. They'll be there. Maybe I'll stop by, but I don't know. By that time, I could be dead to rights here and maybe have one eye on the TV. I'll be checking out the main events for sure. I'm going to have my UFC plays loaded up for sure as well. So make sure you subscribe over at the Winnable app. You'll get my plays for UFC Noche, pretty much almost the whole card. There, I'll have predictions on many of the fights. You can use the promo code STEAM to save 20% off all premium pick packages. Thank you to 2Zigs. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And we'll be with you tomorrow for what's going to be an awesome NFL day for Sports Money Network. I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you so long.